It's me, Vicky Marie. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Hope you're well. Hope you're all well. In this video, I'm going to talk about 4 different things. I had so much that I wanted to say today that I just decided I'm just going to go on. I'm going to talk about all these things that I want to talk about, and then later I will cut the video down into 4 smaller videos. So if you're someone who prefers the shorter videos, then you'd be better off waiting for those, like, or perhaps for the individual topics that you're interested in. I've also got quite a bit of waffle. I like to have a waffle here and there. Some people love the waffle, some people don't like the waffle. I am going to be waffling a little bit. If you don't like the waffle, you're probably better waiting for the videos to come out without the waffle. But anyway, so there's 4 things I'm going to talk about. I'm going to talk about Gary Glitter. Those of you of a certain age, like me, you will remember Gary Glitter, who was a pop icon in his day. And then, of course, it turned out he was actually like children's food, let's say. I'm going to talk a little about him only because, it's important we don't forget about these people. It comes from golden age of child lovers, doesn't it? When, there were all these people in the public eye that it turned out, like Jimmy Savile, etc. Turned out they were all PDFs, and now we sort of feel as if the whole entertainment industry is just it's just a horrible cesspit, isn't it? So many people from my childhood, if you like, that we used to watch on the telly: Jimmy Savile, Rolf Harris, Gary Glitter. Do you know what? I could probably sit here for 3 hours just talking about Stuart Hall. Uh, there are just so many of them. It turned out, didn't it? And there's more coming out all the time. And there'll be loads more that never got caught or never got talked about. Maybe they died beforehand, or they just were lucky enough to get away with it. So I'm just going to talk about Gary Glitter because he's on his last legs, apparently. So no one's going to miss him, I don't think, when he goes. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about it because these people that go to prison do terrible things. One, they seem to live for ages, because they get spoiled in prison, don't they? And then I just wanted to talk about him and remember him. Not remember him, but for the sake of his victims, of course. I don't care about him, but it's important that we don't forget these people. We don't forget what they did. And as I say, there was a time when there were so many of them in the entertainment industry, and there probably still are, but they're getting weeded out a bit more now, aren't they? So we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about any updates on the Nancy Guthrie case, what's going on there. That's a case that we're invested in, isn't it? And then 2 cases that I have not spoken about before. We're going to talk about a lady called Okland, who this is an American case. It's very similar. Those in the UK or the world who know about the Susie Lamplugh case. So this was a real estate agent who was shot, and her murder's been unsolved for years. Now somebody has been arrested and charged after, I think it's about 15 years. And it's a woman who's been charged, which, I know women do terrible things, but probably wasn't what people were expecting. Like with the Susie Lamplugh case, somebody else who was an estate agent had an appointment with someone to show them a house and disappeared, and she's actually never even been found. So it reminded me a bit of that case. So when I saw it in the newspapers, I thought, yeah, I'm going to talk about that because she deserves to be talked about. It's not a case that I'd heard of before. So we're going to talk about her, about Ashley, and the good news that finally someone has been arrested and charged with her murder after all this time. It must give the family some peace of mind at least. And then we're going to talk about this is a case close to home because there's a young man, a young American man who was on spring break in Barcelona in Spain. For those of you who don't know, I am based in Spain. That's where I live, not in Barcelona, but I've been to Barcelona. It's a beautiful place, but it's a dangerous place, like any other big city. And this boy has disappeared, 18, disappeared after a night out with friends. It's got echoes of the Riley Strain case, etc. But I feel like there is definitely some foul play here. And my heart just breaks for his family because it's bad enough when your child goes missing or your adult child goes missing, uh, even if it's local to you. But when it's in a different country, a different language, the Guardia Civil, as we know, well, they're called Mossos in Catalonia. We're going to have a look at that. They're notorious for being very sort of secretive with their investigations and everything. Family trying to deal with a tragedy like this from a distance. He be found, but he's been missing for a few days now. And anyway, we're going to talk about that. So that's something a lot of, it's getting more and more into the news at the moment because there's a boy who's disappeared after a night out with his friends. He was last seen leaving a nightclub with another man. So we're going to look at it now. It's a new case for me. I don't know all the details yet, so in a way we'll be discovering it together. The same with the case of Ashley, the realtor. Not a case that I'd seen before. So sorry, just having a coffee there. So here I am in Spain. It's a beautiful day today, though it's a bit windy, but the sun's out. And here in Spain today is Father's Day. It's Dia del Padre aquí in España. So I want to wish all you dads out there, if you're furry dads, stepdads, foster dads, bio dads, whatever, if you're a dad of any kind, description, Feliz Dia del Padre, Happy Father's Day. Because and it is a big fiesta here in Spain. In other words, most of the shops are closed, etc. Families will be going out for dinner, with their dads or granddads or father figures. As you know, it's being a father is more than just being the biological dad, isn't it? So anyone who's some sort of a father figure in someone's lives, Dia del Padre is for you as well, or even if you're just the father of a furry sort of child. Which leads me to the other thing I want to tell you about. Now, those of you who watch my channel often, you know I have another channel, and I am a Spanish teacher and an English teacher, actually, in my other life, apart from reporting on true crime. On YouTube, that's something that I'm interested in for various reasons. And, I started doing some true crime sort of chats about cases I was interested in a couple of years ago. And, people, for some unknown reason, do seem to quite like me talking about crime. And I think the thing is, we're always victim centric on my channel. It's all about the victim. and the families, etc. And it's so that people should never be forgotten. We talk about as well crimes that are not so high profile. We talk about high profile crimes that are in the news, but we also, if you look on my channel, you'll see there's lots of videos about crimes, cases that maybe you never heard of before, missing people, etc. So I have a channel as well, another YouTube channel, which was actually my first channel because it was the channel that I set up for Spanish and English, for my Spanish and English videos. As time's gone on, and so this channel that you're watching on is, how can I explain? Because the other one is like my first channel. This is like a secondary one, a spin-off channel, if you like, from that. Now the other channel, I started doing a few, sharing a few of the crime videos on there, and they're more popular than the Spanish videos. The more people watch my Spanish channel when I put on a crime video than do when I put on a video about learning Spanish. So what I've decided, I've changed the name of it, and I'm setting up. I've set up a third channel to do the Spanish and English on that will be just so that it'd be separate. Because the other thing, it was getting blurred as well. So there'd be some Spanish videos on there, some crime videos. But as I say, it's the crime videos that people watch the most and seem to be most interested in. So I'm going to show you, I've changed the name of the channel. It was Spanish and English with Vicky. I have changed it to True Crime Chats, and what we'll be doing over there. So I'll be like saying for this video, as I said, that I will be doing, because I'm going to be talking about quite a few different things. I will edit it into 4 smaller videos without the waffle and upload it on this channel, which is Vicky, God, what's the name of this channel? Vicky Marie Chats. I've forgotten the name of my own channel. But I will also upload them on the True Crime Chats video. And what I'm asking you, please go over there and subscribe. I've got quite a lot of subscribers over there. Not as many as on this channel, but on both channels I'm always trying to grow the subscribers, and that leads me to say, as I always do, please like and subscribe the video. If you enjoy my videos, that's a free way you can support my channel. You can leave your DNA on the like button, leave your fingerprint on the subscribe button. These are free ways, and share, of course, as well. These are free ways you can help my Vicky Marie Chats channel or this True Crime Chats channel. You can also become a member over there. It's a little bit cheaper, I think, than the membership on this channel. So if you want to become a member, you can become a member on there. I want to say special thanks, as always, to all of you who are members. Also to those of you who have sent me Ko-fis, bought me Ko-fis, sent super stickers, etc. These are ways you can support my channel if you want to. As I say, the subscribe and like, etc. are completely free, and of course watching the videos is free. But if you want to go that bit further, people, thank you to those of you who have and have become members or bought Ko-fis, sent super stickers, PayPals, etc. Thank you so much. So yeah, if you get a chance, go over there and leave your DNA on the subscribe button. As I say, it's absolutely free. So that was something that I wanted to tell you about. What do I want to tell you about? Oh, yeah. Before I come into the chat, say hello to those of you who are in the chat. Thank you to those of you. I know not everybody likes coming into the chat, but I know some of you out there, my lovely lurkers, thank you for watching. Thank you to replay crew, because there'll be people who'll come on and watch this later, probably while they're doing the ironing or, I don't know, cooking the dinner. Thank you. I know always all sorts of people leave me a message and say, "Oh yeah, I'm just peeling the spuds," or "I'm just doing this," or while I'm listening to you. And thank you for listening to me waffling on. But anyway, I'm glad you enjoy it. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, and this is a completely. What I'm just going to say now is a complete. Totally nothing to do with anything that's said so far. I want to have a little whinge. I should have done it in a separate video, maybe. But to all of you out there who have children, young children, um, or if you're maybe grandparents or whatever, and you take your grandkids out or whatever, if you push your child around in a pushchair, can I just please say to you, why do people who are crossing the road at a zebra push their child out in the pushchair first? Honest to God, I've seen it so many times, and I just think, oh my God, what is wrong with you? So they go to cross a zebra and they wait, to make sure people stop before they cross. But before they, as they stop, they push the pushchair into the road. Have you noticed that? It's like they put the pushchair first, and the pushchair's got a child in it, and it's in the road, and they don't seem to notice, and they're stood on the pavement. And the reason, it's especially got to me, I mean, it gets to me all the time, but yesterday when I was driving, there were, it was like a family. It was a man, a woman, and one child in the pushchair, and another child was like maybe about 4 years old, and the man was holding that child's hand. And as I came up, they stopped at the zebra crossing because it was on red for them, green for me, and red for them. But they sort of came. So the guy with his hand holding the toddler's hand, the toddler walked right into the road. I mean, I don't go fast ever, but if I would have been going a bit faster, I could quite easily have caught that child. And then as he did that, as he wasn't holding onto the child's hand properly, because the child just sort of started running out into the road, and the man just sort of stretched like that. So that child ran out into the road, and at the same time, the mother who was pushing the pushchair pushed the pushchair into the road. It's like I had to pull up, which luckily, as I say, I never drive fast when I'm in an area where there's pedestrians, etc. But some people do. Some people drive very fast. Some people could easily have not only either caught that child or the toddler, or hit the pushchair. It's just like pushed it into the road. Anyway, it's not the first time I've seen someone do that, because I always just think, why do you push the pushchair into the road? You're stood on the pavement safe, and you're pushing the pushchair into the road on the zebra crossing or whatever road it is. So it's just a little whinge about that. Please don't do that, people. I don't want to run any children over. I don't want to run anything over. I had to dodge a cat on the way back this morning. A blooming cat walking in the middle of the road, and there's about 3 other cars waiting for this cat to cross the road. You're always trying to, if you're not sort of pedestrians chatting in the middle of the road, or sometimes people they've got dogs on those extendable leads, and they're not keeping a proper thing of it, and the dog walks into the road, and the lead just extends. Oh my God, it's a minefield, isn't it? So yeah, just I don't want to knock anyone over. I don't want to knock a cat over. I don't want to knock a dog over. Birds that fly down into you. Oh gosh, I just don't want to run anyone over. Thank you. So that's why I always crawl along in my car. I am a very defensive driver. But I've learned that. I wasn't when I was younger, but I am now. So I've seen too many tragedies that happen in just, how can I put it? Just you would, 1 minute everything's fine, next minute a dog runs out into the road because it's on an extendable lead. Happened to, I know a few people that it's happened to them. to their dog, and so they've stopped using extendable leads as a result. Thing is, this extendable leads are good in one way, but you always have to remember that if you have to be in control of it, make sure it's not gonna, your dog's not gonna just pull off and then next minute it's in the road. So yeah, that was a little whinge that I wanted to do, a little bit of waffly whinge. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to come into the chat. Hi, David. Hi, Lily. Yeah, John Cannon, the favourite Susie Lamplugh. But, will we ever know for sure? He's not. Did he die? I think he died, didn't he? As far as the Susie Lamplugh case is concerned, yeah, he is thought the killer of Susie Lamplugh. Mr. Kipper, she had an appointment with somebody called Mr. Kipper, didn't she? In her appointment book for that day. Then she was never seen again, but her body has never been found. So, and then John Cannon, I think he died not that long ago. He was, I've got a video about him somewhere on my channel. Actually, if I dig it out, I might link it in the description. Yeah, very sort of, he was a bit like a Ted Bundy type. He was quite a handsome guy, quite charming, quite charismatic. He certainly thought he was anyway. And quite often these psychopaths, they are charming guys, aren't they? That's how they worm their way into, that's how they get women on their own, and get them to go with them in cars, or women aren't suspicious of them because they are charming, maybe handsome, etc. And when that happened with Susie Lamplugh, I remember one of my cousins telling me she was working as a real estate agent then. And of course, when you're taking people around houses, quite often it's only you and them, isn't it? But after that, they were all instructed they were never to go and do a house showing alone. They could never go alone, or it had to be documented who they were seeing. The person had to prove who they were. Much more safety checks and balances after Susie Lamplugh went missing. Because yeah, it's true. It's quite often you are in a vulnerable place, and as soon as you go into a house with someone, just you, that person, you are vulnerable, and you don't know anything. Somebody rings you up, or wants to go and view this property, you don't know who they are, do you? So, hi Heather, good morning. Hope you're well. Hope everything's okay at Cook Towers. I'm going to start a Cook Towers. I'm going to start a Vicky Marie Chats Towers. I decided that when the weather, the weather is better, but it is a bit too windy today. There's so many lovely birds around here. So many different, I was going to say makes. So many different birds, and they sing, and it's lovely. You probably quite often on my videos hear birds chirping and that. Now, I never really encourage them to come around, only for the simple reason is they do tend to poo everywhere, birds, don't they? And then they build nests in your air conditioning units and things like that. But I think what I'm going to do is I am going to start putting some feeders out for them and that, and see if I can get some nice videos of them. Of course, they don't come too close because of the dogs. The 3 dogs soon see them off when they start barking at them or whatever. But yeah, I thought, yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of work on my little. I've only got a little patio out the front there, but I've got a bigger solarium upstairs. But it gets so hot up there. But I thought, yeah, I might put some water out for the birds and that, because they'll need that in the summer. They don't really need it, because at the end of my road is a big council, the municipality, Lido, so they can get water from there. I don't think they're really short of water, but yeah, I thought I'm going to try it and see how it goes. Now, it may come to a time, that I can't bear it if there's too many of them and they're pooing everywhere and everything, but we'll see how it goes. Oh, you've got 5 deer now, Heather, that you're feeding. So, Heather, one of my regular chatters, one of my members, she's got a lovely garden where a lot of wildlife comes, and she quite often sends us videos to have a look at. Uh, 5 deer now. Oh my God. Then they have babies, and they're deers that you had before. Now they've had baby deers, and they bring them all round to Heather's for some nosh, because she spends a fortune on putting things out for the bird. There's squirrels, there's birds, there's ducks, there's geese. Oh, they've created a den at the back of the house. Oh, how lovely. So they've moved in. It's like a granny flat, isn't it? They've made themselves a little granny pod or deer pod, so that because they know they're going to get fed there. It's lovely, Heather. It is lovely. It gives them some security, doesn't it? And for you, it's nice. I know it's expensive, but it gives you something nice to look at. It's better than watching the telly, isn't it? Really. Oh yeah. Oh gosh, I'd love to have a deer in my. I mean, that's not going to happen here. I've had some strange animals around, but toads and things like that. You do get snakes, so you get rats. I don't want them. I don't want them. But we'll see what happens when I start putting some bird food out. I'm going to start doing that when I tidy up there, and I'll put some photos out online when I've set it up a little bit. Okay, I'm stopping waffling now. So for those of you who don't like the waffle, I'm going to stop waffling now. And the first person we're going to talk about in this video is Gary Glitter. Gary Glitter. As I say, for people of my age or similar age to me, there'll be other people who are younger or whatever that won't know about Gary Glitter and how popular he was. He was so popular. Let's have a photo of him. So he was part of this glam rock sort of era, wasn't he? Like was a bopper era. I've got a photo of him somewhere. I've just got to find it. Is that it? Is that it? Let's have a look. Yeah. So you can see he was he was the leader of the gang, wasn't he? And the leader, and I think we can't underestimate how popular he was. He was really popular, and when I was a teenager, he was all over the telly, and he's on Top of the Pops, and he used to wear big platform shoes, as all the glam rock stars did. That's not his real hair, by the way. It turns out he was completely bald, and he used to wear a wig. And I remember going to the cinema to see him. He was in a film. There was a film on at the cinema, and me and my friends went and, held our scarves up and sang along to all the songs. Oh God, the innocence of those times, really, when you think about it now. God, they're all blooming perverts, aren't they? It's like the entertainment industry is just full of them. Maybe it's good. It's good, of course, that we know about these people now, but it's like, it's just like, oh my God, another one, another one. There's one after the other. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about, because I saw an article in the Sun, and I think it's the Sun newspaper. I'm just going to read it out. That's all. He's supposedly on his last legs. I wonder if he's still got his platform shoes on. Look, this is what I mean. You can see he hasn't aged well, really, because he was quite old actually when he was famous. When I say old, He wasn't 18, put it that way. I'll have to have a look and see how he got. I don't know how he got famous, because he didn't get famous from being very, very young. He was all, I feel like he was, yeah, do you want to be in my gang has got has got a completely different connotation now than it did at the time. So of course he's famous for being too fond of children. He spent a lot of time in Thailand. Surprise, surprise. That haven for people who like children. God, it's just awful, isn't it? Because it's got to a point now where somebody tells you they're going off on holiday to Thailand, you just think straight away they're probably some sort of PDF or into drugs or something. It's awful, really, isn't it? I can't, and I've got a lot of friends who've been to Thailand and say it's a lovely place and the people are lovely, but I don't think I could go because I couldn't get beyond it all. I just couldn't. There are some places I would just never go because, even though I'm sure most of the people are lovely and everything, but it's the foreigners who go there. They're the things they do is horrible, and knowing that that's going on and that there's a lot of poverty and all that, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't go because I wouldn't be able to stay removed from it all. I'd be like getting angry with people. So anyway, the Sun, good old Sun, says that Pop PDF Gary Glitter is on his last legs and spends most days holed up in his jail cell. He's 81 years old. Why do these horrible people live so long? Obviously Ian Huntley recently died in prison. He didn't live so long because he was attacked. Why has he not been attacked? I suppose he's probably not been attacked because he's probably in prison with a load of other PDFs who are exactly like him. Now, we have to be clear, he did not murder anyone, at least as far as we know, of course. Ian Huntley murdered those two little girls, Holly and Jessica. Gary Glitter, as far as we know, has never actually killed anybody, or he's never been caught for it anyway. You'd never be surprised, would you really? He's almost totally deaf and deeply troubled by money woes. Well, what money woes has he got? I mean, he's there in prison. He's not got to worry about the rising price of petrol, or, he gets his 3 square meals a day. He gets medical treatment when he needs it. What money woes? What money woes has he got if he's in prison? And of course, one person's money woes, what does he mean by money woes? He'll probably just go bankrupt or whatever. But of course, this was him then in his heyday, Gary Glitter. That's not his real name. I think his real name is Paul Rudd, isn't it? Or something like that. That's how he got his name, because he was always glittering. He was always larger than life character. Yeah, but this is him now. So this was in 1972 in his heyday. 1972. I'm trying to think. I think I was about 10 then. That may well have been when I went to the cinema to watch him. I certainly wouldn't have been much older. It wouldn't have been much later. So he was recalled to jail. Now, if I didn't know this or I'd forgotten it, he was recalled to jail in March 2023 after a Sun probe into his behaviour at a bail hostel. So fellow inmates believe that Gary Glitter, jailed for sex attacks on young girls, will die behind bars. He's in HMP Channings Wood in Devon. He was recalled to jail in March 2023 after a Sun probe into his behaviour at a bail hostel. And he's being held on a vulnerable prisoner unit for his safety at HMP Channings Wood. Yeah, he'd be being protected left, right and centre. So there's an ongoing legal case to seize the assets of the bankrupt. Oh, he's already bankrupt. Former pop star, first jailed more than 25 years ago after 4,000 child abuse images were found on his laptop. An insolvency hearing took place this month at Bristol County Court under his real name, Paul Gadd. And a source said of Glitter, who was refused parole last year, he is deaf and can barely move, and most people would struggle to recognise him now. He seems to be on his last legs with his body giving up. And if he doesn't get parole soon, most officers and inmates think he will see out his days in jail. He often moves around in a wheelchair, and staff are told about his hearing impairment and reduced mobility. Shame, isn't it? But I just think, these horrible people, they go on forever, don't they? It's like, maybe he's not very well and everything in it, but he's still alive, isn't he? They never give up. I mean, look at Ian Huntley, even after that man bloody attacked him and with a metal bar, he still hung on life support for a while. I think they're too frightened to go to the next world, to be honest, because God knows what's they're going to have to face. So added to that, he is seen as arrogant in prison, and most inmates don't like him. He has to be kept on a VPU, as it is not solely a jail for sex offenders. My phone keeps beeping at me. Let's have a look. Won't be anything exciting, I'm sure, but I best check. Oh, just clicking. The Americans are up early. This is JLR telling me he's got something going on there, but he must be up early. So he's kept out of harm's way because he cannot be safe on another wing, but he is spending up to 23 hours a day in his cell. He had a string of chart hits in the 1970s before a succession of jail terms for child crimes. His latest stint was a 16-year term for historical sex attacks on 3 young girls, with an automatic release in February 2023, halfway through his sentence. But within weeks, the Sun obtained footage of him at a bail hostel discussing internet browsers and dark web access. So he's never learned anything, has he? He's just carrying on. I don't think people ever change. It's an illness. It really is an illness. He's gone to prison. As soon as he's got a chance, he's out again doing it all again. So they should not be released. They should all be put in a prison together, and they should not be released. They should not be allowed access to the internet. They should be chemically castrated, if not actually. These people, they can't help themselves. I really do believe that. I don't think it's a choice that they make. I think it is like a mental illness. Not that I think that means that they should be forgiven or anything. I'm just saying I don't think they can ever change, ever. So our investigation prompted officials to check his phone, where they discovered he'd been gawping at girls as young as 8 doing ballet routines. He was recalled to jail, then declared bankrupt in April last year after failing to pay a £508,000 High Court compensation award in damages to a woman he RAPD'd when she was 12. His victims' lawyers launched enforcement action, meaning a trustee can now take over assets, including his £2 million penthouse. How has he got a £2 million penthouse? I mean, he's not been famous for years, so, how's he even got any money left? Where's his money come from all that time? What a vile man. It makes me laugh the way the son calls him the pot Peter. Look at his hair. Oh God, looking at that now, I just can't believe that we could have ever have thought that was real hair. But, because it just, and it just shows you how impressionable young girls are. Because me and Mike, we thought he was great. I've just got to say, we thought he was brilliant. We sang to all his songs. That is how vulnerable young girls are, because they're easily swayed. I don't. How could we have thought he was brilliant? I don't. Looking at it now, it's like, oh my god, but we did. We did. So this is how vulnerable young, not only girls, young people are. It's easy to impress young people, especially when people are in like the entertainment business. So he was refused parole in June last year. A panel ruled he still had an uncontrolled interest in young girls. I don't think that would ever change. I bet they could release him tomorrow. He might be 81 in a wheelchair, but he'd still be on the dark web or whatever. So apparently he enrolled on an SEX therapy course in an attempt to convince justice chiefs he was a changed man. And he has been moved from specialist SEX offenders prison Laverne in Dorset to 750 inmate Channingswood. Inmates are encouraged to take part in meaningful activity and can attend gyms and workshops as well as academic courses. Sounds bloody brilliant to me. No bills, no worrying about where your next meal's coming from, no worrying about what the orange freak in America is going to do to cause World War III, or your petrol prices. If he is he's too infirm to get to classes. He gets most of his food brought to him in his cell by prison guards, including breakfast packs, lunchtime baguettes, crisps and fruit, and evening meals such as lasagna and Thai green curry. Well, I wish they'd bring me a lunchtime baguette or a Thai green curry. I couldn't afford to buy Thai green curry these days. That you cost of living crisis. You forget your treats. You just got your basic food. He is on the most privileged enhanced regime. He gets around £33 a week to spend in the canteen and extra rights to phone calls and TV use. He's on a relaxed regime, which means he can sit in his cell all day watching Freeview TV and DVDs. And because of who he is, everything is carefully monitored, though. He's in a single cell with its own toilet, sink and so he's in a private room. It sounds comfortable, but Glitter is spending most of his time in there and only being taken out for fresh air and exercise when he can make it. Staff also have to take food to him, usually 3 times a day, and are also delivering his canteen orders. But he is pretty decrepit, and it feels like his body is packing up. Diddums, get the violins out. He's also moaning about his plight and the court and bankruptcy problems, which means staff have to monitor him. But nobody really has any sympathy for him whatsoever. He was first jailed for 4 months in so this has all gone on since 1999 that he was caught out. He fled abroad after release. Then he was expelled from Cambodia in 2002 amidst SEX crime allegations. March 2006, he was convicted of SEX abusing 2 girls in Vietnam aged 10 and 11 and spent 2.5 years in jail. How many times do you not just get the key do you have to do something before you just get the key thrown away? He returned to the UK, but he was arrested at his London penthouse in 2012 as part of the Met Police's Operation U-Tree into historic sex abuse. He was jailed, but automatically released halfway through his sentence before a swift return following the Sun's investigation. So, instead of taking responsibility for his horrific crimes, Brazen Glitter blamed the media when he was last refused parole. Oh, yeah, it's all the media's fault. Obviously, it's all the media's fault. And apparently he's been reluctant to engage with group work because he fears information may be passed to the media. The prison service won't comment. So yeah, it'll tell. I think it's going to tell us here. So, born Paul Francis Gadd, Gary Glitter was a key figure of the glam rock scene. He hit the big time in 1972 with Rock and Roll Part 2, which reached number 2 in the UK. He was famous for his flamboyant outfits. He went one better in 1973 with I'm the Leader of the Gang I Am. Do You Want to Touch Me? Oh God, yeah, that was another one of his songs, wasn't it? Do You Want to Touch Me? Oh my God. Couldn't make it up, could you? And then Hello, Hello, I'm Back Again. Sampled decades later by Oasis. Don't tell me Oasis have sang one of his songs. Anyway, by 1975, oh, I never knew he was married. So he had 2 kids with his wife Anne Merton before their 1972 divorce. And he had sold 18 million records by 1975. Been married, to be honest. And his poor kids, well, they'll be grown up now, obviously. Hope they're okay, because, you know, what a legacy. In 1997, a worker at PC World in Bristol found child abuse images on his laptop after he took it in for repair. Oh, so that was how he was caught, was it? Police then discovered more than 4,000 child abuse images in raids on his Somerset cottage and London flat. He was jailed for 4 months in 1999, and he later talked of his deep regrets. They're always full of regret when they get caught, aren't they? Always. As soon as they get caught, they're all full of regret. He spent time in Cuba where he had a son in 2001. Oh my God, he's got another child. Before moving to Cambodia, and that's when he was expelled in 2002, admit claims of sex crimes against minors. Then in 2006, he was arrested and jailed for abuse against 2 guys. You know, YouTube's not going to like this video. I can see it coming a mile off. They'll probably pull me up on it, but never mind. So he returned to the UK in 2008 and was jailed in 2015 for 16 years for the essay of 3 schoolgirls. So this is it. How many times before they just lock you up and throw away the key? How do they keep getting let out? Anyway, he's been refused parole, thank God, the last time. And he probably will never come out. He's 81 now. Let's hope he never does come out, because I honestly, I really feel 81 or not, if he had a chance, as soon as he got out, he'd be back on the computer again, wouldn't he? Back on the computer again. You cannot be cured. I agree, David, cannot be cured. These sort of people, you know, they're never going to change. Never. So I just wanted to tell you about that. He's still hanging in there. How long will he last? You know, we get to know, don't we, when these, you know, people like him, Gary Glitter, Ian Huntley, any monsters from, you know, we do get to know normally when they die in prison, like the Yorkshire Ripper or Ian Brady and Myra Hindley, etc. And nobody cries any tears for them, do they? Or maybe their own family do, I don't know. Maybe Paul Gadd, Gary Glitter, maybe his kids would cry a tear for him. I don't know. But it's difficult, you know, I can't imagine how that feels, to know that your father is a prolific child lover. And, you know, that's what he's going to prison for. And not only that, every time he gets released, he does it again. You know, so that's awful for them, isn't it? I feel for them. I feel for his family. But I just wanted to tell you about it. It's something that struck a chord with me, because I remember when I was young and I thought he was brilliant, you know, and you just think, oh my God. I used to like Rolf Harris too, and Stuart Hall. You know, it's all these people that are part of your childhood. I never really liked Jimmy Savile, but having said that, I did used to watch Jim Will Fix It. You know, it was a massive program. Everybody watched it. You know, I don't think I ever wrote him a letter. God, I might have done, but I don't remember ever writing him a letter. But you know, I mean, these are like icons from your childhood, and then you find all this out about them, and it's like, oh my God. At least now, I think with social media now, etc., people are more aware of things that are going on. But of course, the big thing at the moment is the Epstein files. God knows what's going to come out there. I've sort of, I haven't stopped reading about it, but I've had to distance myself from it a bit because it is so awful, the things that were done. So I'm just waiting for the whole thing to come out, because at the moment I just feel like everyone's talking about the Epstein files, but nobody's been arrested. This has gone on for ages. You know, why hasn't that orange freak been arrested? You know, let's get it done and over with and properly sorted. Get Andrew in prison, Peter Mandelson. You know, it's all just lip service. Oh yeah, we're going to arrest them. Oh, we're going to let them out now. Andrew's still living in luxury in Sandringham. You know, when's he going to face a court? No, it just winds me up. So I've tried to step back from it a bit. Anyway, so that's the first thing I wanted to tell you about. Now, I'm going to talk about the good news. Some good news, isn't it? Because this lady who, what I'm going to, let me put a picture up. So I'm going to talk now about this realtor, this real estate agent that was murdered quite a long time ago. And this is a cold case. I expect her family were despairing that anyone would be ever caught for this crime. But somebody has been arrested and charged. For her murder solved. You know, because there's people out there that have committed crimes and thought they've got away with it. There's probably loads of people out there that think they've got away with crimes. But now, especially with DNA breakthroughs and testing, etc., I think anyone who's done something bad in their past, nobody will be resting easy, will they? Because there's so many things can get. But this case, I wanted to talk about it because it's important to remember Ashley, of course, but also just because I wanted it to show, you know, it illustrates how you should never give up hope, even with cold cases, especially in this day and age. Even when a case has been cold for a long time, you never know when it might get solved. So this is her. This is Ashley. Ashley, as I say, this is not a case that I knew a lot about. So we're sort of learning about it together, but it's been in the news because there's been an arrest. And the person who's been arrested is a woman, which I know it shouldn't surprise me, but it does. So, you know, because I think, you know, it just does. And maybe that's sexy, but, you know, crimes against women like this are normally committed by men. So, you know, it did surprise me, but let's see if we can work out why it happened. Okay, so a woman who's 53 now is arrested for a cold case murder of a glamorous real estate agent who was 27 and mysteriously found dead at an open house. So how old? So this woman that's been arrested is Kristen Ramsey. That's not her, that's Ashley. This is her. So this is the woman who's been arrested for murdering Ashley. Oh, I'm not sharing. Hang on. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. Hang on, I'll share. Yeah, this is the woman who is now 53. I presume she was maybe only in her, probably in her early 30s, late 20s when it happened. She's the one who's been arrested and charged for murdering the other lady. Let's see what the article says. So this is the Daily Mail I am quoting here. So, Kristen Ramsey, 53, was detained on Tuesday for the first-degree murder of Ashley Okland, 27, the West Des Moines. What is it? Des Moines, is it? How is that pronounced? And where is it? Where is Des Moines? I don't know where it is, I've got to be honest. It's in America, I know that. Where is it? Let's have a look. Where is Des Moines? Sorry, my geography is awful. I think it's America. Might not be America. Oh, it's Polk County, Iowa, is that? Yeah, it's in central Iowa in the United States. It is the capital of Iowa, located in the central part of the state within Polk County. Yeah, my geography is rubbish. Sorry about that. But for those of you who do know about America, let's see if I can find. Oh, there it is. I'm gone. Where is Iowa? So Iowa is near Minneapolis, is it? Not far. Yeah. So yeah, Minneapolis, Wisconsin. Let's just share this tab so you can see for those, because I know some of you are interested in actual geography of cases. I think for me, it's like it's the case itself that always intrigues me, but of course geography is important as well. Let's see, am I sharing that? Yeah. So you can see here's Iowa and Des Moines. I don't even know how you pronounce it. Isn't that awful? Lost it now. Where's it gone? I know there'll be Americans out there watching this going, for God's sake, you don't even know where Iowa is. It's like, sorry. Sorry. Absolutely rubbish at geography. So yeah, there it is, Iowa. Oh, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Minneapolis, Minnesota, etc. Not that far from Chicago. There you go. That gives us an idea of where it is. Let's go back now to the article. Go back to the article. So yeah, at the time of the murder, that poor girl, the estate agent Ashley, she was found dead with 2 gunshot wounds on April the 8th, 2011. So this is 15 years nearly, inside a model home she was showcasing for Iowa Realty Company. And at the time of her murder, she was working as an administrative assistant. This is the murderer, Ramsey, Kristen Ramsey. She was working as an administrative assistant and sales manager for Rutland Homes, the developer of the townhouse where I wish they wouldn't call people by their surnames, except for the perpetrators, of course, where Ashley was killed. Her murder had baffled investigators for almost 15 years, and they said on Wednesday they did not anticipate any further arrests. And so her sister, Ashley's sister, Brittany Bruce, thanked officials for their years of dedication in seeking justice. That Friday afternoon, when Ashley was taken from us, seemed so long ago. We had lost our hope in finding answers and having any justice for Ashley, said Bruce. It was really difficult to accept that the case had gone cold. You know, cold cases, it's terrible, isn't it? If your loved one, like, found shot like that, and then, you know, the police don't seem to get anywhere. It just must be awful every year that goes past. So anyway, this is her. This is the woman. This is the woman that's accused of it. I wonder how they've caught her now. So she's been booked into Dallas County Jail, and she's on a $2 million cash bond. And Josh Okland, the real estate agent's brother, also spoke and expressed similar sentiment of gratitude to the investigators. A spokesperson for Okland's former employer, Iowa Realty Company, hailed the break in the case. Everyone within Iowa Realty and related companies was relieved for the family of our friend and colleague Ashley Okland that an arrest was made for her murder. Her tragic passing was something that not only deeply impacted the company and community, but the national real estate world as a whole. But the organisation said it was shocked to learn that Ramsey is the suspect. So this Ramsey woman has been walking around free all that time, walking amongst them. Gosh. So the police chief said, Ashley's stories kept many of us awake at night, revisiting the details over and over in our minds, searching for that missing piece that would tie everything together and lead down the right path to identifying a person that was responsible for this act. She was found critically injured after an employee at the model home she was showing heard a commotion and went to investigate. Gosh. So this is her sister, Brittany, the victim's sister, and this is her brother, Josh. They spoke. This is the police chief, Jody Hayes. So it's a result, isn't it? So she was found suffering from gunshot wounds and called 911 at around 2 p.m. and she later died. So she obviously mustn't have had a chance to speak before she died and say who her killer was. So despite the killing taking place in the middle of the day, God, you know, we're always surprised, aren't we, when you think, why can't they catch the killer? Why can't they catch the killer? But here's a shooting in a public place in the middle of the day, but the case went cold for more than 14 years. I wonder if the police always suspected this woman. So according to a statement, so according to a statement from the Real, so she's still working in real estate, this woman. Oh my God, this perpetrator or alleged perpetrator, she's still working in real estate. She currently works for Midland Title and Escrow, an organisation that's part of Iowa Realty Company, where the victim worked at the time of her death. And Ramsey, I don't mind calling her by her surname because she's the twonk, was booked into the Dallas County Jail and is being held on $2 million cash bond. And they've reached out for comment, the Daily Mail. So more will come out about that. Wonder why she did it. Do you think it was like professional jealousy of some kind, or let's have a look at the news conference. Uh, I'm not going to look at the news conference in this video because I've got a lot to get through, and I'm going to run out of time. So, okay, so that was, oh, thank you, Lily, for the candle. So, right, let's look at this. Now, this case I don't know a lot about yet. I just wanted to tell you about it because it's in Spain, really, and it's become quite high profile. So this is another missing persons case. This is an American boy, as I was saying. It reminds me a little bit of the Riley Strain sort of case, you know, a young lad out with all his mates. But this time they've gone all the way to Barcelona from America. They've gone all the way to Barcelona in Spain, here in Spain, for spring break. And this boy has gone out with his mates and he's gone missing. So we just have a look at an article about it. I'm not going to go into it in any great detail because personally, to be honest, I don't know a lot about this case yet, only literally what I've read today about it. I just wanted to mention it because I wanted to sort of introduce it as something that I will be looking at. Where is it? I need to really research it better before I can talk about it better. So let's hope he is okay. It should come up in a minute. It's taking its time. The internet's going slow again. It should be up there now. Why is it? I don't know why it's not showing. Oh, it's unresponsive. Oh, when it goes unresponsive, it's like I've probably frozen, have I? You can probably still hear me. Right, I think it's gone unresponsive. So do you know what I think I'm going to do? Because when my internet gets like this, it's just pointless trying to do any more. So I'm going to stop